Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o. Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o.
Jọ́sìmọ̀ tẹ̀kẹ́ tó lé kíjó akú sórí eré ajá tó lé kókó akú sórí eré.
Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o. Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o.
Alayo rédíò ayọ̀ ní tiwa ìròyìn ayọ̀ l'Alayo rédíò.
Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o. Alayo Radio tẹlifíṣàn tún ní wọn ò lè ní wọn bá o.
ó pẹ́ tí mo ti ń gbọ́ rédíò káàkiri ayé ìgbà tí mo ṣalábàápàdé Alayo Radio TV rédíò tó bu àyà gbogbo oúnjẹ fẹ́ gbé ó tún wá gbà púpọ̀ ó tún wọ́n ṣe bẹ́bẹ́ yàtọ̀ sí bẹ́ẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáyé ni wọ́n ti ń gbọ́ wa kábíyèsí fún gbogbo àwọn ìkànnì míì ẹ bá ń ṣe fìlà kórí adé kábíyèsí alára àgbà yìí dá ní ìkànnì Alayo jẹ́ fún gbogbo ìkànnì míì ògbóǹtarìgì ni wọ́n níbi ká ṣe live broadcast music training live streaming photoshoot studio ẹ̀ka ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ audio mixing studio àti àwọn ètò lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí ìròyìn tó gbóná fẹlẹ́lẹ́fẹlẹ́lẹ́ àti gbígbé àṣà àtẹ̀sìn lárugẹ ètò nípa lọ́kọláya eré ìdárayá láti ẹnu àwọn atọ́kùn tó dáńtọ́ opposite Glory filling station ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ odò along ọjọ́ ìwó road Ìbàdàn láfi kalẹ̀ sí ẹ lè pè wá sórí 0913-609-3243 tàbí 0707-979-0863 Alayo Radio TV ìkànnì tí kò lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́.
Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, good morning. I believe you enjoyed your night. And I hope you're excited to be on this program or to join us on this program again. This is Marriage or Do's. For those of you just joining us, I'm sure you are wondering, marriage orders, what do they talk about? This is where we talk about love, commitment, and the challenges faced in marriages. If you are yet to follow us on any of our social media handle, you can do well to do that today. You can follow us on Alayo Radio TV. Yeah, this is your girl Shakunle Oluwatomiwa Folashade. And I welcome you all to another episode of Marriage Orders. Onto this program, I'm not alone. I'm here with a guest in person of Miss Abigail. Miss Abigail, the audience would like to know you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Abigail Balogun Abigail, and I'm pleased to be on the show with you guys.
Thank you very much. We're excited to have you. Alright, for those of you just joining us today, let's do a quick recap on what we did in the last episode. In the last episode, we talked about we discussed on the topic, the one. Yeah, the one. Where we explained that many of us have this mindset of, this Nollywood mindset of having or believing that there's someone out there who is going to love us unconditionally without any efforts, who is just going to accept us for who we are without having to do anything. That perfect person that just completes us. And I remember explaining to us that in as much as that sounds so romantic, but it's not real. Aside from the fact that it's not real, it's also what Timothy Keller called romantic idealism. And romantic idealism is not just a fallacy, it's also destructive. We explained in the last episode that instead of looking for that perfect person, you can actually become the perfect person yourself. I remember we also talked about soulmates. We said that you do not just have a soulmate, you grow into soulmates. You become soulmates together. I also remember giving us some reflective questions for us to reflect on. So how many of us actually did that? I'm sure you all forgot. But there's no problem about that. We are going into a new episode today. Like my sister would say, don't be too quick to scroll up or to scroll down. Just listen. Find a seat and just listen. So today we are looking into a sensitive but very relevant topic. So when a grown man raises a family under his parents' roof, is it a blessing or a burden? Let me say that again. When a grown man raises a family under his parents' roof, is it a burden or a blessing? Is it a blessing or a burden? I would like you to go to this comment section and let us know your opinion. Do you think it's a burden or it's a blessing? Don't worry, I won't be the only one talking today. Miss Abigail will be helping us with this discussion too. Because let's be real with ourselves. In Africa, especially in Nigeria, many people are going through that. They think it's a cultural. For some, it's a cultural thing where they raise their family under their parents' roof, and might be because they're the first son or because they're the only one available to take care of their aged parents and all that. So they had no other choice than to just raise the family under their parents' roof. But we want to look at it. Is it really a blessing or a burden? And at what point do they have to stop this and get out of that place? So, Miss Abigail, let's start from the roots. In your opinion, why do you think many men choose to live or feel comfortable living under their parents' roof? Or should I say, raising a family under their parents' roof?
Okay, well, there are different reasons why I feel a man can decide to raise his family under his parents' roof. One of the reasons is probably because he's not financially buoyant.
True.
And maybe a child has entered the picture. Maybe it could be a mistake. Maybe he's actually not financially ready to start a family, but a child has entered the picture and he does not want, he's considering the welfare of his wife and the child, the unborn child. So he might decide to start raising the family in his parents' home. Okay, another reason could be that probably the man is not dependent yet, or independent. Sorry. Maybe he's still dependent on his family. He's not yet weaned, not just financially but emotionally. He has not been weaned off.
It's the wind for me.
He has not been weaned of his family, so he's still attached. So he might not actually see a reason. To him, it's not just about finances. He just doesn't see a reason why he should leave his parents' house, especially if the parents are now financially okay and all. He might be like, what's the big deal? And then just take it all in like that.
I think I reason with that because looking at it logically, why would I want to leave my parents' house and go and pay house rent? You know, when the house is free, like there are many mansions in my father's house. Okay, we also have some people who think that it's a cultural thing. You know, they have this mindset that it's our culture. We've always lived as an extended family. I think I've seen this in mostly Islamic families. I think mostly, and in the north, I think I've seen that there, where they think it's a family thing and they live like as extended families. But do culture really have something to do with this? Like, do you think culture has something to do with a man raising his family under his father's roof, or it's just like the man is trying to avoid emotional or financial dependency? What's your take on that?
Well, while I'm not familiar with the Hausa culture, I think what I have observed in culture is that the man actually has his own home prepared, whether it's small or it's big. And then if he has issues with staying away from his family or his parents, he can bring his mom in to live in with them, thus forming the extended family. So I think people that use culture, it's just an excuse, and it's not an acceptable excuse. It will be that the man has his home, even if it's just a room, and then he brings in his mom or his sister or his dad or something to stay in with them, and then the extended family is formed, and not him raising the family in his parents' home. Like, you're starting a new family now. It should be in a new environment, I think.
Yeah, actually. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that one of the reasons that might warrant a man raising a family under his parents' roof would be maybe because of financial crisis, or so. Probably he's not financially stable now to raise his own family outside. Yeah. So, but at what point do you think this has to stop? At what point does this stop? This arrangement of living under my father's roof. At what point?
If financial crisis or lack of financial stability, if that's the issue, I believe that before the man brings his wife or partner into his parents' home, they've had a discussion and they must have reached a consensus. So in that discussion, I expect that the wife would discuss with her husband, okay, how long is this going to take? I believe that this is not permanent. They must have established the fact that this is not going to be permanent, which means the man actually has an active plan on how to foster his financial stability. So maybe he's like, okay, I'm working on something within so time, maybe within a year or something. If we can afford a room at least, would you be willing to move out of my parents' house with me?
Okay, so a room.
I
get it. I'm just don't mind me.
I'm just trying to consider people's the reality of things.
True.
There are some people that are actually very, very poor, and maybe the wife, maybe it could be that it's the lady that is actually auntie and she wants to just get in with him.
My gender can be like that sometimes.
Exactly.
Especially when we are considering age. I'm growing old, so we just want to fasten up things and just enter the man's house, forgetting what is going to happen after the marriage. Yeah, I get it. So it happens. Okay, so a situation where this actually happens and they've agreed that with time we are going to live here. Staying in your father's house is not going to be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
We cannot keep staying there. They reach a consensus. How do you think this living under father's roof, or should I say under the parents' roof, affects the woman? I mean the wife herself.
It depends on the kind of family. I know of a friend that actually intentionally the guy told her that he was not ready yet, that he's still staying with his parents and he wants to have his own apartment before they get married. So the lady intentionally planned to get pregnant.
Wow.
It worked. She told me, because when she was planning it, she stayed away from me because she knew I would advise her against it. I was just wondering what's going on with her. So after she was pregnant, then she now told me what she did. So she said it was a gamble. And okay, the guy was like, okay, I want to marry you. So, but would you be willing to raise this child in my mom's house, stay with my mom? So, and the lady was like, okay, no problem and all. But the mom actually, she had a relationship with the lady and their rapport was smooth. So even after the lady moved into the parents' house, it was still, everything was going on smoothly actually. The mom was like, oh, my grandchild, I've been expecting a grandchild, I love this. So that's why I said it depends on the kind of family. But there are some that, they can really frustrate.
Yeah.
They can frustrate the woman. So it's the woman needs patience. If she agrees to that, she needs patience.
Okay, so that being said, we agree that there are different reasons why people can stay under their parents' roof to raise their family. But when you're staying under your parents' roof, it means that we have two men that are likely to claim leadership or authority. So what do you think about this? A man under his father's roof, can he truly lead his family without conflict or confusion?
I don't think he can lead his family without conflict or confusion, except if his father is probably sick or indisposed. Yes, because you are not the man of the house. Actually, the man of the house is the original owner of the house.
God,
So
big.
it's the original owner of the house that actually has the authority. So if you make a decision and he says no, your wife can't be doing this at that place, this is how I want it in my house. Number one is your father. Number two, he's the owner of the house. So like usually most of the time there will be conflicts of interest, and the husband will not be able to assert his authority as much as he would in his own space.
You know what just came to my mind?
What?
I was just imagining staying. I'm sorry for the break in transmission. So I said I was just imagining, husband and wife under their father's roof, the parents' roof, and then it depends on the structure of the house anyway. Mm-hmm. So let's imagine that the structure of the house is that the noise coming from room 1 can be heard in room 2 or something like that. And I'm just wondering, when they are actually having what husband and wife would want, like the noise, because there are some people that love to express themselves when they are having fun, so to say. I believe you get what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, so Like, will the wife really be able to be expressive on bed? No, that's just the imagination that came to my mind. Like, without my father-in-law hearing the fact that oh God, sorry about that. Okay. But really, what do you think about that? How do you think the woman or the wife feels staying under a mother, father-in-law's roof, and then she wants to be expressive in bed without having to interrupt her in-law? Or a situation where she feels like eating something and the mother-in-law is like, no, I want to eat something else. Like there's a clash. There's always a clash somewhere. What do you think about that?
Okay. On the events that they want to be sexually intimate and then the parents are around and they want to be expressive and all, I guess it depends on timing. They have to
Hey God.
they have to, because they know what they are entering into.
God, I beg.
They've already spoken about it. They know that their privacy will always be infringed on, so they don't have their privacy, so they have to time it. If the wife knows that she cannot time it, then she have to be intentionally non-expressive. Yes. Or maybe it's her timing, honestly, because if it were me, I would not be comfortable.
Personally, I don't think I'll be comfortable myself. Personally. Okay, so when we were talking earlier, you said that it depends on the kind of in-law the person is having. When you were talking about your friend, that if they have a good rapport, the woman might not really have a problem staying there.
Yeah.
But a situation where they do not really have a smooth rapport, there are people that it's not like they don't rapport. It's just that they are better off with being apart than staying together. And even while they stay together, it's not so like they don't talk. It's just like, good morning, we talk. I know who you are. I know your should I say your position in my life as my mother-in-law. So I give you that accord as my mother-in-law. But I necessarily don't have to, I have to be conscious that I don't see you as a friend. Although it is advisable that you make your mother-in-law your friend, your mother, just the way you would treat your own mom is the way you should treat your mother-in-law if you really want to enjoy the marriage that we are. So, but we cannot say that it's that way for everyone.
Yes.
So, at what point do you think that we should, like, the husband should draw the boundary between honoring the parents and and asserting his own leadership? A situation where the wife and the parents are not
saying eye to eye.
That kind of situation. What do you think? At what point do you think the husband should draw the line between honoring parents and asserting leadership? And not just for people in living under their parents' roof now. I think generally. We still have some people that they are not even living under their parents' roof. But literally, it's still like their parents have influence in their marriage.
Yeah.
They just dance to the mommy's tunes or dance to daddy's tune and all that, and before you know it, it's causing issue. So at what point do you think a line should be drawn?
Okay, I think this is where the emotional maturity of the man comes into play. He has to realize that he's starting his own family. So here, his wife, before his mom is number one, but now his wife should be number one, and he must be sure to make sure that he demonstrates it, like he shows it that his wife is actually number one. So if he wants to, let's say, to be a mediator, maybe there's an issue arising between his parents and his wife and stuff like that. Even if I believe, this is just my opinion, even if his wife is the one that is in error, that is guilty, yes, even though it is his wife that is guilty, I feel it should not be harsh on her in the presence of his parents. Yes, it should not be harsh on her in the presence of his parents. He can try to appeal to his parents. He knows them better than she does, so he can appeal to their kinder self, and then in private he can assert his authority on his wife and give her a clear warning that it should not happen this way. But in the presence of his parents, he should not do that. He should not try to undermine the partnership of his wife. So that's why I said this is where the emotional maturity of the man comes into play. So, and that is why I said in the beginning that there are some men that are not yet weaned of their parents. Yeah.
Okay, serious win. So my people out there, I believe you're enjoying the show. I believe you're learning something from the show. Like we said, it's a very sensitive topic, and to be honest, I believe that there are people out there going through something like this. You know, I believe that there are still men out there raising their family under their father's roof. Not that I personally condemn it, but we should know that when the scripture was saying something about for this reason a man will leave his father and mother's house.
Yes.
Did he mention mother in that?
Father's house.
His father's house,
Yes.
to cleave
To his wife.
to his wife. You know, when the scripture was saying that, I want to believe leaving your father's house should include physical house too. To go and cleave. I'm not trying to misinterpret the Bible. I'm just saying I believe it should include that too. So in as much as we understand that there are a lot of factors that can lead to you staying under your parents' roof, especially financial stability. If you're not financially stable, and logically, if I have a house that it's just nobody's there except for my parents, and they are aged, and there are plenty rooms there, logically, I would rather stay there than to go and stay in a friend's house or to go and be indebted because I want to rent an apartment, at least for a while till I get back to my feet. So it's logically understandable if we do that, but it should not be a forever thing. You shouldn't say because you now have an abode under your parents' roof and you will now use that as an excuse not to want to leave the place. You might be comfortable with it, but you need to consider your wife. Will your wife really be comfortable under your parents' roof? So let me hear from families living under this probably this is your own reality. This is your setup. So what are the challenges you guys really face? Like okay, I think I'm taking that too personal. What are the challenges faced? Like, how do you feel if you're currently under this kind of setup where you are living under your parents' roof as a man and raising your family, or you are a wife where you and your husband stay under his parents' roof? And what are the challenges you face, and how do you feel about it? You can go to the comment section and let us know your opinion. A thought just came to me right now. Like, I was just thinking, what if a situation where the husband family do not really have much, like they can't even say they have a house to themselves, in that kind of situation?
Okay.
So what if the wife is now offering, okay, I know you are not financially stable, and of course I know you have a future, I know the future is very bright, but right now we can make do with what we have. What if we stay in my own parents' house? Do you think a man will accept that?
I don't think a man should accept that, because I feel that in that kind of situation, the man should cut his coat according to his size. Yes. If staying in the man's house, the man's parents' house, is going to create friction, staying in his wife's parents' house is going to be it's going to blow the friction out of proportion. That is what I think. Because the parents have an expectation of their daughter's husband. And it's not everything that goes on in the family that should be open to the wife's parents. I feel that there are some things that should be kept from them. So them living in the wife's parents' house is going to affect the man himself a lot. Because this time around, you cannot appeal to your wife's parents. So you have to just keep quiet. If you don't want to assert their authority, there's a limit to how far you can assert your own authority. I think it's a no.
Wow. Okay, it's going to cause I think what they call sea finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the sea finish go plenty everywhere. Okay, so in one sentence, or maybe more than a sentence, though, what advice would you give to couples, like intending couple, or about to be married or already married, and they are planning to move into their parents' house, or or they're already staying in their parents' house raising their family? What advice would you give to them?
Okay, if they are just planning to move into their parents' house, I will advise the man against it. I will advise him to sit with his wife and try to convince her so that they can live within their means. They can start from little. In fact, let's say instead of right now moving into his parents' house, let's say they move into a room and parlor, what they call self-contained. Okay, and they do that for like a year or two or so. I believe that whatever challenge they face is going to encourage the man to actually do more so that they can better their living condition. So, because if he stays with his parents, especially like I said, if the man is not emotionally mature, he can become too comfortable and be unwilling to move out. So to avoid that, I think they should just live within their means, and they should try to be patient until things become smoother. And for those that are already in it, they are already living in their parents' place, well, there is no black and white in this world. There are always shades of gray and everything like that. So, I don't know the kind of living situation they are in. I don't know the kind of relationship that is going on between the parents and the couple. But I will advise the couple to come to settle it with themselves, and to accept the fact that this is not permanent. we have to actively seek to leave this place and to start our own family. I didn't say marriage is not merging of, okay, it's merging of families, but then basically it's starting a new life, a new family. Yeah, so let that newness come in. Don't deprive yourselves of the beauty of that newness, even if it's in one room. Like I said, although most cannot take it, but then even if
personally, can you take that?
No.
It's a rhetorical question.
He has to be ready. He should be ready before we go into the marriage stuff.
But anyway, it's a relative thing, and I think it's personal. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a personal thing. It's I observed that, ladies, when we were younger, we had this. Will I call it a fantasy? We just have this picture of we living in maybe a 2-bedroom flat or 3-bedroom flat, you and your husband, at least enjoying the best life of your, the youthful life together, the first 2 lives you guys are enjoying it together. It's always like that. But in reality, when reality checks, and you see that the man you love, it's not actually financially stable to rent a 2-bedroom flat or 3-bedroom flat, and on your part you're not growing younger, and you have parents telling you especially when you now have cousins and younger ones already getting married, and they have the audacity to come and use it as a shrebi lady. That's in there. All right, okay, I can't say it's off camera, but you've heard it. But because we actually have people in that shoe, we do.
Yeah.
And all the pressure is there. Actually, you're now the first grandchild, and your grandmother is also expecting that blah blah blah. So every time they see you, they're reminding you, you're not getting younger. And then what is actually delaying you is the fact that the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you are so convinced that this is the person the Lord is leading you to spend the rest of your life with. But yet the person is not financially stable.
Well, communication is very important.
Communication will go chop last, but anyway, I get
between
it.
couples. I believe that at least at that stage where everybody is on your neck, they're going to get married. You as the lady, you are already financially independent. Maybe you are not buoyant, let's say, but at least to an extent you are making your own money. It might not be in the hundreds of thousands. It might be in the nairas, it might be in the thousands, it might be in the covers, anyhow, but you are making your own money. So sit with your partner, and then you guys can okay, let's save money together, and then let's plan. We want to collect, we want to rent, maybe face me, face you. At least let us start from there. If you know you are desperate, you cannot wait. Exactly. I don't know how long the relationship has been, but I believe that after a relationship of after a year, and you guys know that you want to end up together, you should have started making plans towards these things.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I said it's communication.
My people out there, what do you think? There's really a lot about this marriage thing. It's not just something you want to go in without being prepared. You'll be shocked. You will be shocked. You will be so shocked. Yeah, marriage is sweet, but it's not just about the love. The love is important, but it's more of responsibility, commitment, acceptance, all these things working like hand in hand. It does not have a stop. If you are the only one staying now, sometimes you don't even care about what's going on around you. Your room can be so untidy, and then who cares? But you are now two together, so you're responsible for one another. It's not just the husband being responsible for the wife now. The wife is also responsible for the husband. So it's like your husband's success is your success.
Yeah.
The wife's success is the husband's success.
Yeah.
So both of you don't want to do things that we make your in-laws, either both party, I mean the husband side, the wife side, to start questioning. I hope my daughter has not made a mistake. I hope my son has not made a mistake. You know, things like that. So it's really a lot. It's not just about the I love you, the butterfly that is going on in your stomach. Like I do say, you know, if you see love as emotion, you'll be shocked. Because emotion is one thing I keep saying that you cannot rely on it. Lie. It's so fickle. Like, I remember when my dad died, and we were all cried. I love my father. And the way at which I like, the kind of love I have for him is especially that when he leaves, I'm supposed to cry, like, feel bad almost every time. Every time I remember him, I'm supposed to be feeling bad. You know, I realized that I cried though. At some point, I will not remember again. Like, I'm still going to eat. Again, I'll still cry. Again, I'll still eat. Somebody will crack joke. I'll crack joke beside me. I will still laugh. And it got to an extent that I started, like, just going away with the pain. Like, I was trying to console myself. I was tired of grieving. And I decided to, you know, just be listening to comedy, laughing. And a part of me is like, are you supposed to be happy? You just lost your father. Are you supposed to... This thing I'm saying, like, I had to... I think it took me a month before I was able to, like, equalize everything, you know, speak to my conscience and tell myself, don't feel guilty for this man. You are not the reason for his death. The truth is, you cannot cry 24 hours. You cannot laugh for 24 hours. Yes, you might be happy. But to laugh for 24 hours, you're just there, people even think something is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so emotion is one thing you don't want to rely on. So when you're going into marriage, forget the butterfly in your stomach. No, just forget it. People say go in with your brain. You know, even your brain can be messy at times. Just trust God. It's only God that can help you, actually. To be sincere, it's just God. It's just God that can help you in marriage. So for my brothers out there, if you are ready to get married, it means you are ready to take responsibility. And if you are ready to take responsibility, it means you are ready to lead. And one thing about leadership is it does not necessarily require wealth, but it does require courage. You know, take one step at a time. It requires a lot of risk. You know, at sometimes you have to compromise with some of the things that are just I'm not saying that we are letting go of our values, but there are some things that you, like, to you look like a value, but when you're coming into marriage, you have to consider your partner. So that what you think it's value to you. Okay, let me give you an instance. I have, I used to know someone. I'm saying used because I don't really think we are in... It's been a while, like, but while we were still, like, actively friends or actively in contact with one another, he was telling me that ever since he got married, that his wife has never seen him naked. Yeah, the way you paused was the way I paused too. And I'm like, your wife, do you guys sleep in separate room? And they have children, as at this time I was talking about. They have children. And, okay, what's the catch? How do you guys become, like, when you're sexually involved, like, how do you guys do it without being naked and all that? Then he said that since before he got married, there was a prophecy that was said upon his life that no woman should see his nakedness and something. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But now that you're married, is that still the case? And it was like that when they want to do it, they off the light and it's always on underwear. Like, I really do not understand. So just imagine that kind of situation and imagine that the wife happened to be someone that wants to feel everything. But what? You have to compromise in things like this. Don't be selfish about you can't be selfish. You can't afford to be selfish because it's no longer about you. It's about the both of you now. So it's really a lot when it comes to marriage. Because I can't imagine. Okay. Well, so I was saying that it's not, you can't afford to be selfish when it comes to marriage. You want to consider your partner in everything. Remember when we talked about effective communication, and we also talk about love and respect, the crazy circle. These are the things that if we are not very, very careful, it starts causing a drift in the marriage, and you won't know that the marriage is already going. You guys are already going your separate ways, gradually. Before you know it, it becomes you turn to people that can actually do without each other. You just know that you are living together. You have the title married couple or whatever it is, but things are happening, and you just still feel you are cool until you take your time to reflect. And I also want to encourage that couples should have time to reflect.
That's true.
Just that the way we will have in business meetings at the end of the year or at the end of the month, we want to see what we've done well, what we are unable
what's our
to.
profits, what's our losses.
Exactly. I think couples should also have time to do that. And if you have children, I think you should also have time where all of you come together and then you reflect on it. I would not say you should use SWOT analysis. This is not business, it's family. But if that's what's going to help you, consider your strengths. What are the things you guys have done well for each other this month? Or it might be a monthly thing, it might be like maybe after 2 months. But come together to talk. Talk with your children. Have a conversation with them. What are the things you guys think we could do better? How can I be a better parent to you? You get, and the children can also ask, okay, how can I be a better son to you? But I'm not sure African parents will want to do that.
I think the Gen Zs that we're having now should.
Change. Because honestly, it's not just a whole year. People don't even have game time. You don't even have movie time. I'm not saying that you are jobless, so you have jobs, but spend time with family now. Have time to heart conversation. I think things like that will really, really help family. It will. We really need to, change our mentality about being the authoritarian of the house and becoming down, small, becoming down. Alright, so of course we understand that it's not all men that stay under their parents' roof that are lazy. We know that for many it's not about laziness. Life just happens.
Yeah.
Life just happens. So for most people it's not just about laziness. It might just be maybe a job loss or something, maybe emergency case, because I have a family who wanted to travel out of the country, and as at that time they were still like working it out. So they had to relocate from the north down to Oshogbo, to Oshogbo, precisely. And then the husband family does not have family member around here, so they had to stay in the wife's parents' house. But it's understandable. It's not like it was going to be a permanent thing. Yeah. So we understand that it's not. So for some, it's not about the laziness. It might just be maybe job loss. It might be emergency. It might be family obligations. But if that is going to happen, we need to set clear boundaries. Let it be clear. Communicate with your spouse. This is why we are moving to this. This is why we are making this decision at a time like this. And trust me, we are leaving this place at this time. Like there's an exit plan. It's not that you are just staying there and you want to be complacent. Like you are comfortable, but you are not considering the fact that your wife might not be comfortable staying there. You know, as a woman, she wants to feel like a queen.
Yeah.
She wants to feel like she owns the home. Not that she has to be walking on eggshells because she does not want to offend her
She
mother-in-law.
wants to mold her home by herself.
Have you stayed with grandparents before?
No, actually.
When you are trying to correct a child, like, actually, and there's some grandparents that can be very, 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 oh God, only bomoje, let's put it that way. Like, they will pamper that child. And you are like, no, you don't have to give them everything they request for. The grandparents, is my grandchild. And we have some that the Badon people, I'm sorry, apologies, but they like to insult. And their insult is always like curses.
Yes.
You hear something like, something like that. And you are like, no, this is not how I want to raise my children. You know, and you are in the grandparents' house that almost every time, aburi is what you are hearing. You know, that kind of thing can really, really cause a lot of conflict. So you might want to consider all this before you make your decisions. Okay, so to conclude this, are we going to say staying or raising a family under our parents' roof or under your parents' roof is a blessing or a burden?
I'm going to say that it's more of a burden than a blessing. And I'm going to capture everything with this saying. Maybe it's not a saying, but it's just what came to my mind. That love is a choice. Because I believe that before you decide to live together or raise a family together, there's an higher feeling of love that you are feeling towards each other. And like you said, it's not just emotion, it's a choice. And for every choice and decision that you make, there are pros and there are cons.
Yeah.
So you have to be comfortable with the fact that, okay, this is the choice I am making based on this love issue. And these are going to be the consequences. These are the advantages. Can I live with it? How will it affect us in the long run? So that's why maturity comes to place a lot. So I think it's more of a burden than a blessing. In most cases, some it's a blessing, but in most cases, it's more of a burden than a blessing.
Oh, well, as much as I would agree with that, but not that I'm trying to sit on the fence here, but if I look at it, considering factors that might warrant someone staying under the parents' roof, we wouldn't want to generalize things. So I would say it depends. It depends on the intent. It depends on the intent. It depends on the boundaries. It depends on the maturity. So if the intent is not to stay in the house forever, and then of course if the reason for staying in your parents' house is probably because of job loss or the fact that at that moment you are not financially stable, but that's the best option you could take. Yeah, the intent can be understandable. Then maturity, both emotional maturity, spiritual maturity actually also, because you don't want a situation where there are some couples that when they pray, I'm trying not to mention churches, but there's some prayer points that is being raised, and then even your mother, your family said will be wondering what happened. You get that kind of thing. So spiritual maturity, the intent, emotional maturity, and then setting of boundaries. If you're staying under your parents' roof, do you think you can still assert your leadership? If you think you can still assert your leadership, then to some it might be a blessing, to some it might be a burden. So it depends on Bitoba Kosie. Let me say that in Yoruba. It depends on the Bitoba Kosie. And we understand that marriage is a journey, and sometimes the road might go through your parents' house. It might just be that the road is through your parents' house. Just make sure that even if you're passing through that part, you don't stay there, and that's not the end. So you know that there's an exit plan. So your journey should not end in your parents' house. Make plan. Don't be too comfortable staying under their roof that you do not want to start your own family outside. Don't make it come to the extent that where people will think you're trying to avoid taking responsibility. That's not the picture you want to paint for people to see. Okay, so we are running out of time. That will be that on today's episode of Marriage Odors. I believe you've learned one or two things from today's episode. So if you have learned one or two things, go to the comment section and let me know what you have learned. Okay? Also, ensure to keep the conversation going. So you can tag us on any of the social media at Alayo Radio TV. Okay, you can share your thoughts with us too. What do you think about the topic we have discussed today? What's your opinion about it? Respectfully, what's your opinion about it? So until next time, love deeply, respect genuinely, and keep the spark alive. I remain my humble self, Shakunle Oluwatomiwa Folashade. Until next week.